So you kind of said something in there that kind of leads really into our next topic, which would be death in the field, and kind of dealing with other public safety entities involved in that. So when you talk about penetrating trauma, let's say a gunshot victim, and we arrive on scene, and law enforcement is kind of, they're concerned about a crime scene, evidence acquisition, those kind of things, and we're kind of trying to take care of the patient and identify, are they in cardiac arrest, do they have, you know, an airway, those kind of things. So kind of speak to that from an EMS perspective and how best to deal with other public safety entities and still take care of the patient as necessary.
I think a lot of that goes back to understanding your the teammates, whether it be law enforcement, you know, what have you. I think that they have a job to do just like we have a job to do. I think that when you get on the scene, what I found that many times if the patient still is alive, they want you to do everything you can. We're not crime scene technicians. So I would suggest that asking the police there, hey, look, I need to go in and take care of that patient. Help me get through that crime scene without contaminating that scene, and they will help you do that. Many times we find that we get on the scene and the patient is really deceased, and they're just wanting verification that they are deceased, but they don't want a whole team of 4 or 5 paramedics in there messing up their scene. So I've seen that sometimes they will actually have someone that, you know, hey, we'll let one person come in, and that's fine. Take one person in with a cardiac monitor to verify, you know, no signs of life or whatever. So I think that's the biggest thing, that understanding what their job is too. We get really bent out of shape sometimes because, well, they won't let us in there. They won't let us in there to take care of that patient when the patient really has no signs of life anyway. It's really their scene. So just understand what they do, and as always, just document. If they don't want you in there, then document on your EPCR that, hey, we responded, you know, certain ex-police department or sheriff's department or state troopers, etc., asked us not to enter the crime scene. And always, you know, you can always call online medical direction and inform them and get guidance from them. I think that's one of the casualties of a lot of Category A treatments through the protocols now, is many of the medics don't want to call med control anymore, don't feel comfortable calling medical control. When you and I were riding on the ambulance all the time, we called them almost on every call because that's what we did. Now we don't get those calls very much on just guidance. We get them on Category B drugs, but just on guidance of how do you handle this, how do you handle that. Not always, sometimes we do, but we don't get those calls. So I think in recapping a little bit, I think just understanding what the law enforcement partners are going through, what their job is, and contacting online medical direction if you need them. Understanding that the law enforcement may want just one person going in rather than the whole team, especially if they already know pretty much that the patient is dead, they just want verification. And if there is something that we're going to actually work, just tell the police, hey, look, we don't want to contaminate your crime scene, can you get us in and get us out? And most of the time they're more than happy to help you with that.